Number 4, Brad from Conroe, Texas. Conroe, not hip to that city. Conrack, one of my favorite movies of all time. The great John Voight. Conrack, if you have not seen it, a little gem. Please give it a tumble. The waging of a limited... Jesus Christ, you people are wearing me out today. You act like I have any instincts. The waging of a limited war in Iraq and Afghanistan seems no more likely to be effective than it was in Vietnam. Let me see. Well, Iraq's working out already a little better than Vietnam, so I can't agree with it there. Afghanistan, I remember when we initially went through Afghanistan 8 years ago, it took like a month. I had been told they held the Soviets up in the mountains for 10 years, which makes you think the Soviets are idiots, because we went through there like a knife through butter. Yes, the detractors will say we split early. To me, it was such it was such one of those mercy fuck victories that we had time to move on and do Iraq when we were over there, because Afghanistan was almost too easy. So do I believe that we can win in Afghanistan? Yes, I do. So I disagree right off the bat with the contention that Iraq, at least at this point, no more effective than Vietnam, and potentially Afghanistan. If for no other reason, there are less shrubs to hide behind in Afghanistan. Caves easier to bomb than individual shrubs. That's my theory on warfare. The reason Vietnam got real weird, shrubbery. If the nation and its leaders are not willing to make that commitment, he's talking about Barack Obama, and indeed I saw he sent 14,000 troops to Afghanistan today. So he's trying to split the difference as people who are conflicted. Bush was never conflicted about the war on terror. Good, evil, good, thin, evil herd. That's what I liked about Bush. He kept it on a basic level. Barack's going to be all nuanced and John Kerry about it, and he's going to send 14,000 troops in because he doesn't want to alienate the Daily Kos crowd, and he wants to get them a crystals thing, but he'll probably stop short of that. And now the anti-war people under Bush who are livid are seeing 14,000 more troops sent there, but they're not going to complain because it's their guy right now, and they realize their phony shallowness, that it was never about the war, that it was about they didn't like Bush's way, and they like Barack's way because they fancy themselves more intellectual, and Barack was more of an instinct guy. You know, it's all crap, Freudian underlay. All I know is the anti-war crowd, by and large, has disappeared. And the war is, at least in Iraq, the same, and growing in Afghanistan. So where's the complaints now? So he's sending them, he'll send them in, well, there's honorable men. I can't use drips and drabs. That's too throwaway. He'll send contingents of men and women when he should probably give the general what he wants. And as U.S. Grant said to Sherman, kill everything in gray you can and get this over with. I mean, I hate to get human. The only humanistic approach to war is to destroy the enemy as quickly as possible. That seems counterintuitive, but once you start getting into feel-good wars, nerf wars, that's when it gets ugly. Neither Bush nor Obama have been willing to go big, right? Although Bush, come on, give him some credit. Sending 140,000 troops there is as big as we can get right now. But I agree with you. Can it get bigger? Can it just be, you know, all of a sudden you find a mountaintop where you think the cave is, and whatever they're calling the Enola Gay nowadays goes over, and you see the big Portobello, and the mountain is a plateau the next day? Have we gone to that card? No. Should we? I would in a second. I think it's a perfect scenario, because you don't want to drop it on a city. I mean, when I look back on what Harry Truman did, it was necessary. But it's a tough one. You are talking about innocents there. Now, Japan was willing to die, all of them, and that's why it had to do that way. But I think that it's been so long since anybody's seen nuclear plume, they think of it as a fictional feat. And I think there's enough of those mountaintop layers where I think you could set one off there and kill bad guys and no friendlies unless some poor goat herder comes in You know, yeah, I mean, that could happen, but I literally would take the top off a peak somewhere on that border and just say, all right, we're doing it up here, just to remind you. So that would be go big in my book. So I say, this is once again Brad, it's time to bring the boys back home. Interesting here, Brad. I am for this war, and I think you have to press terror wherever you find it. And we're finding in Afghanistan right now. But I'd have to say I agree with you here. If we are not going to let them fight, if they're sitting ducks that drive up and down a road and get blown up with pipe bombs set off by cell phones, yes, I agree with you. Either you unleash the Kraken, but if you're just having these kids there to cover your ass and not allowing them to cover their own asses in the process, I agree with you. I respect and love the American soldier too much to not let him fight. Soldiers fight. Soldiers kill bad guys and break shit. If you're sending them over there to hold and get picked off one by one, agree with you. If we're going to stick our toe into international intrigue, I think we need to stop pussyfooting around. Bingo, Brad. I'm right with you. Half-ass war. You never go to war until you have to, and then you go absolutely Roman. And do I see this guy doing it? No, I don't, unfortunately. But we can hope that he can at least have the courage to call an enemy an enemy. Although after that last election in Tehran, where he equivocated on who was in the right and who was in the wrong between Ajad and those kids in the streets, I don't think we're going to see it from this guy. I don't even know what to tell you, my friend. I'm shaking my head. Like I said, I got my crystal and the Dalai Lama in the waiting room. Chavez walks right in with a How America Raped Latin America book. What's wrong with this picture? All right, enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe Sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.